So once you install it and you open the software, this is what you see. And right now I'm just going to open an existing project. Of course, if you're starting something from scratch, you can open new, but right now I'll open an existing one, and also I'll provide some for you to use. So you just say open and you go where you have it saved and just open like any other software. So this is going to be our training piece for now. And so how you control this, so zoom in and out with the wheel, and with the left mouse button you can rotate the view. And if you want to move, what was it? Okay. If you want to pan around, you just press in the middle mouse button. Now the first thing that we have to do is orient this piece to some logical orientation, because right now if I say okay, look down the Z axis, you see it looks at some random place, same as for everything else. So what I am trying to achieve is that when I click Z axis, it's going to be in this position. And so how we do that, we have to build some geometry on top of this mesh that is going to define our coordinate system. So first I'm going to do a cylinder here. So how we do that, go here to construct, you have cylinder, and then there is fitting cylinder. And now here actually you have some helpful tips. When you have cylinder selected, you can just point at one cylinder based area in the mesh, and the software is going to select it on its own. And how do we do that? Just hold Control and press right mouse button, and you see now here it selected the whole this cylinder. That is what we needed. But then we can still fix some things. We can still add some things, or we can delete some things. For example, here I don't want this bump to be included. It doesn't matter so much since there's only one, but sometimes it selects some too much stuff that's what you need. So I want to delete this out. How I do that? Here in the bottom you have two different selection tools. So this one, the select on surface, is only going to select what you see here, but the other one, select through surface, is going to select this, and then it's also going to shoot through. I can just show you probably. So when you select it, hold mouse button, left mouse button, and just circle it like this, and then you can let go, and then hold the right mouse button, and now here you can select. You want to select this area, you want to deselect this area, you want to cancel, and we want to deselect. So I go here and let go the right mouse button, and you see here it deselected this. But because we selected this select through, or we used select through surface, it also deselected here on the other side. So I'm just going to undo. So Control Z, and I'm going to use this other tool. And now there's another way how you can select stuff. When you with these two tools, you can only click and let go, and then you are selecting like this in straight lines. But then if you hold it down, you are selecting wherever your mouse button is going. And now again, hold the right mouse button and deselect, and now this is now out. But still on the other side we still have that. So that's what we need. And now to finish this, to build this cylinder, we just say create, and now here there is this cylinder existing. And actually what I could do now is also click create and close, because I'm going to build only one cylinder. If you want to build, for example, if I wanted to make it here and here, I could say create, so then this tool stays open. But now it would be better if I just said create and close, so it makes it and then this tool goes away. So now I'll just close it down here like this. Or actually one more thing that I can show you here. GoBinspect has a really good help sections. So if you don't know exactly what you're doing when you're making a cylinder, here you have a question mark. Just click on that, and now you have here a help menu where everything is explained really well. So it's great if you take the time and read these things. Maybe there's a little bit too much to read for everything, but at least check what all these different things mean, because here you have some other ways how you can build this cylinder, and it's hard for me to explain every single detail there. It will take a lot of time, but it's faster if you just check here what you need and what you don't know, because these are really good help texts. So you have different pictures, you have everything that you need. So really use that help as much as you can. Okay, so the next thing, so when you build a cylinder, you get this surface around, and then you get a line inside here. And so this line is going to serve as our z-axis. What we need now is a plane that is going to be our xy plane. And to do that, we go here again to construct plane and fitting plane. And again, I can just hold Control, click here, and it selects everything that I need, or like the whole surface. If you want, you can also do that manually, of course. So if you select on surface, you can then select, and it's going to build a plane for that. But it's, let's say, 85% of the time, it's okay if you just hold Control and select it like that, especially when there's some when there are these kind of nice planes like here. Sometimes it can be a problem if you have one cylindrical surface going into a different cylindrical surface. Those can be a bit tricky. You have to then do it by eye and select it manually, but most of the time you can do this. So this is the plane that I want, and actually I have to, or actually I'll just close it now, create and close. And so now this is going to be our xy plane, and we have this z-axis, and what we still need is the origin of the coordinate system, and that origin is going to be on the place where this line is intersecting with this plane. So we go again to construct point and intersection point, and now we can here from these drop down menus we can just find whatever, all the elements that we have created and the ones that can be used here. So for example, here we need line, so only cylinder is showing up, but here we need plane, so we have plane and cylinder. So because it can, for the cylinder you have this line and you have this surface, so that's why also cylinder is here. But what we need now here is cylinder, and when you have here this arrow here is showing what selection option is active, you can again select it with Control and left click like this. But you have to be careful to really click on what you want to click, because if I would be clicking here, for example, now it selected this the mesh that is here. So be careful when you're doing that. It's usually, I usually just do it from the drop down menus. Maybe sometimes when you have many elements, it's faster to just click it. But yeah, you have to be careful to really select what you wanted to select. And create and close. And now we have a point there. So now we have almost everything. What we are still missing is a plane that is going to show in which direction X and Y are going, because now Z is coming up here, but X and Y could be anywhere in this area, in whichever direction. And how we are going to do that is we're going to build a plane that is going here. And to do that, first we need to build one plane here and one plane here. So we go to construct plane, fitting plane, and now hold Control and select here. And so here you can see this could be, or maybe one case when you might have to select manually. So for example, here it's going a little bit down on this curve already, so I can maybe fix it. So I deselect. So now I'm holding the right mouse button and deselect. So now it's here only on the flat part, and maybe here also. Right mouse button, deselect, and now we have a little bit more precise plane. But you can see it's still not perfect, but yeah, this plane is, or like this area here is not very flat, but it doesn't matter, because we're going to make another one on this side. And let's see how this one is looking. This one is actually better, so we can just create and close. So these are now pointing in some angles, but now if we go to construct plane and symmetrical plane, now we can select these two planes that we have created, and you see now it makes a plane in between. So even though these are now pointing in random, or not random, but like under some angle, they are symmetrical to each other. So if we build a symmetrical plane in between, we are going to get pretty good approximation of like plane going through the center, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. So let's say create and close here. And now we actually have everything. So this is our z-axis, then the point in there is our origin, and then this plane is, so the normal of this plane is either x or y, it doesn't really matter. So now we can actually build our coordinate system. And how we do that? We go to operations, alignment, main alignment, And yeah, so here there are many different ways how to do this. I'll show you the one that I like most. I think it's the easiest to use, but you can also use some other ones. And uh, yeah, it's on up to you. If you want to learn how to do it, use the help, and I think you can figure it out how to do it. But what I always use is plain line point, because in my opinion this is the best way to do it. So we have to select the plane. So we are going to take now plane 4, and plane 4 is, let's say, plane X. So plane X means that this normal of this plane is the X axis. Then line is, we have only one line here, cylinder, and it's Z. And then point is here it doesn't really matter which one you select, 0, 0, 0, I'll say now. And now this is now already in action, so we can check how it looks. So this Z looks okay, this one also looks okay, and so yeah, you can see what I'm doing. I just click on the arrow and it will rotate the view in that direction. And you can also click on this box in different angles, and it will show you the model from different angles. And also, if you want to, this is not the view that you want, you can rotate it here by some whole numbers. So for example, now it's by 90 degrees. You can choose any in increments of 15, and you can also write it, I think. Wait, or maybe not. Yeah, I think you can't write it, but what you need is here. You have 15 here, then 30, then 45, then 90, so you can build any kind of angle that you want there in increments of 15. So one thing, for maybe I want this, so let's say like this. I want that the z-axis is pointing in the other direction, and how we do that is here we can change this positive is now, so this is now negative. So now you see here when z is going up, this is going up like that, and I just say okay, and now we have that orientation ready, and you can actually see it here. This is our orientation, and then all the other elements that we have created are here. And at this point, maybe I should tell you one thing. This is the free version of the software, so we can't, there are some limitations to what we can do. And one of those is that after we create some element, we can't change it. So if I would now say, oh, there's something, I made some mistake actually with this alignment, if I right click here and say edit creation parameters, I can't make the changes, because you can see here you have professional in brackets. So if you make a mistake, you just have to delete this, or you can also leave it, but no point leaving it if it's wrong, and you have to create a new one. It's a bit annoying, but the professional software is really expensive, and this free version is still really useful. It's only you have to be a bit more careful what you're doing. You can't fix things afterwards. And now if I actually, one more thing that is useful, if you want to hide all of these things that you have created, you can do it by just grabbing here with with left mouse button and pulling it here anywhere in this workspace. You let go, and anything that you pull in is going to be than shown here. So if I just pull all these fitting elements here, you see only these planes and cylinders and things are shown. Or if I pull all the actual elements here, then everything that the mesh and what we have created is here. So I'll just hide it right now. Okay, that is all for the alignment. I'll continue in the next video now.